folks, and welcome to Paddock Pass, your post-qualifying edition for the 2019 Spanish Grand Prix, and it's 3 pole positions in a row for Valtteri Bottas. An absolutely stonking lap around the circuit to Barcelona, Catalonia that not even his teammate Lewis Hamilton could match. Right, should we take a look back at how the grid was set for Sunday's Grand Prix? I think we should, and I think, as always, we should start with Q1. Now, before Q1 even began, George Russell had a 5-place penalty in his pocket after he rear-ended his Williams in FP3. Of course, the Williams haven't been able to get higher than 19th in an actual qualifying session this year. That didn't change today. Kubica has got the tub, the chassis that was built for him, but that George Russell ended up racing after the incident that he had with the manhole cover in Baku. He started off the weekend being very comfortable with it and has lost his confidence in the chassis all the way through the weekend, to the point where today he was just taking more and more wing off the front, which should have brought understeer to his car, and it was still oversteering, so absolutely miserable, and ended up 1.2 seconds in arrears of George Russell. Their positions will, of course, switch, though, with Russell's penalty for his new gearbox. Antonio Giovinazzi qualified in P18, not all that happy with his car. Lance Stroll was 17th, can't get his car hooked up, and it's an odd thing, and we've seen it all season long, just can't get that one lap pace dialed into that Racing Point car. Some big updates, length and breadth of the field, but particularly on that car this weekend. P16 was a pretty miserable session for Renault. Daniel Ricciardo squeaked through by the skin of his teeth. Nico Hülkenberg, though, was pushing, went wide at turn 4, ripped his front wing off, sparks flying all over the track, made it back in, though, didn't make it into Q2. Is that to be expected, given Daniel Ricciardo's struggles, or was something else at play?
Well, I could have definitely get it into Q2. I mean, it was not great, obviously, going off in the first run there, and I lost the new spec front wing as well, so for the second run we had to revert back, and car felt quite different, and I felt quite a loss of downforce, so definitely that cost quite a bit of performance. I think otherwise would have made it into Q2, but there you go. You know, if you make mistakes, you pay for it.
Out in Q2 were Sergio Perez, Kimi Raikkonen, Carlos Sainz, Alex Albon and Lando Norris. I think the big surprise here was McLaren, who we'd expected, because of their performance through practice, to qualify in Q3, and neither car did. Let's start, though, in P15. Sergio Perez, ultimately balance issues with the car, that Lance Stroll struggled to get that one lap pace off. Is that indicative of the new package on the car? Sergio says he's hoping for better race pace than qualifying pace, and one thing we've seen from both drivers this year is their starts have been phenomenal. If they can get a good start, if they can hope for a messy first lap, then Racing Point hoping to make some positions up over the early part of the race. Raikkonen, car felt good, balance overall good, but just lacks pace. Lacks a little bit of grip, not much, but overall just lacks pace. That's his problem. Alfa Romeo, one of a couple of teams like Toro Rosso, bringing those incremental gains weekend by weekend. Not a big upgrade package this weekend, as many of their rivals have got. 13th was Carlos Sainz. Should we talk to him or Lando, or both? Let's talk to both of them. I won't tell you what he says. 12th, Alex Albon, where they expected to be, there or thereabouts in the Toro Rosso. Disappointed not to make it into Q3, but he's got a free choice of tyres which could play into his hands in the race. So let's talk to Carlos Sainz, local hero, of course. Never been out-qualified here before. That'll change today. Lando did indeed out-qualify him, but neither car in the top 10, and that, in and of itself, was unexpected.
Yes, definitely. After a strong run in P2 yesterday, today in practice 3, we didn't find the right balance. We were struggling a bit. Q1 was encouraging. We were quite fast, but as the track tempo was going up, we were starting to lose quite a lot of rear grip, and for a reason that we still don't understand, we just didn't improve in Q2 as much as we would have liked. No, but not that harmony with the car, same as I had yesterday. So things to analyze and look forward to tomorrow.
Where have we been all weekend?
I think looking better than you did in quali.
You think?
I think definite top 10. Well, that was the expectation from a lot of people anyway.
I think it always is from McLaren as a team. You always expect it Q3, but no, I think after our pace yesterday, we were a bit more realistic with what's going to be possible, and our quali pace wasn't looking special. it wasn't looking horrendous, so there was a possibility. I was 1/10 throughout the whole lap, 16 corners. All I needed to gain was 1/10, and I could have got me 2-3 places. So I'm a bit annoyed. I needed to get my head down the straight or something, or just sit a bit lower, and maybe it would have been possible. But I'm a bit disappointed we didn't get into Q3, but it still felt like a decent lap, and throughout the weekend the team done a very good job, so I'm still reasonably happy.
All of which brings us to Q3. Now, as you already know, Valtteri Bottas, pole position. But what about those behind him? Well, 10th place, Daniel Ricciardo. Squeaky bum time, making it out of Q1. Got himself through to Q3 with the new wing. Of course, Nico Hülkenberg now running the old front wing. He made a mistake on his last lap, which is why he believes he's 10th and not 9th. In 9th place, though, is Danny Kvyat. Another brilliant run from him in the Toro Rosso. He said he got absolutely everything out of the car today that he could have done, and he's just really happy with himself, with the team, with the steps forward they've made over these opening races to put them in that P9 position today. Then P7 and P8, the drivers that we're going to talk to. In fact, we'll talk to Romain Grosjean, who finished in 7th place in qualifying today. Haas have flattered to deceive this season. Good one-lap pace, terrible race pace. Have they turned it around this weekend? I spoke to Romain yesterday after practice, and he said they were positive with the upgrades they've put on the car, positive returning here, but is it down to the upgrade package, or is it down to the track? Is it track-specific that is suiting Haas? Going to find out. P6, Pierre Gasly, getting there with the car. Still not as happy as he could be with the rear end, but happier. P5, Charles Leclerc. P4, Max Verstappen. Verstappen was not happy because he said he's not looking at the fact that he's managed to split the two Ferraris in 3rd and 5th. He's looking at the gap to Mercedes. He's not looking to make up best of the rest. He's not looking to be numbers. He's looking at P1. He's looking at Mercedes. And Red Bull, as of yet, cannot compete with Mercedes, and that is all that Verstappen is focused on. As I said, Gasly slightly happier with the overall balance of the car, but just not quite being able to extract as much as Verstappen. Difficult when one considers Verstappen's probably pound for pound the most impressive driver of the season so far. And Charles Leclerc, scrappy qualifying from him once again, and as he struggled to, really pretty much in every race other than Bahrain where he took pole, not able to put those sectors together to get the most out of his car here. Big gap from him to the top runners. Let's hear though from Romain Grosjean. A positive day for Haas. Can they take it through into the race tomorrow?
I think we're looking good for the race. I think we've got the tires work nicely. I read the preview of the team before the weekend saying, we still have the best chassis in the midfield, and I thought, people must think Grosjean is crazy. No, it's the case. It's just that we've been struggling recently to get the tires to work, but definitely we've got a very happy. We're not far from the Red Bulls. We are a good chunk ahead of the others behind. Everyone knows that track very well, so it's not easy to make a difference. And we extracted probably the best today.
All of which brings us through to the top 3 in qualifying and the top 3 starting the race tomorrow. You know that Valtteri Bottas is on pole position, but by a big chunk. 0.6 of a second to his teammate Lewis Hamilton in 2nd place. Sebastian Vettel in 3rd. And the fascinating thing, and we've talked about it all season, is that when we left here after testing, it was Ferrari in the ascendancy. When we arrived in Australia, Mercedes genuinely believed that Ferrari had a half second to a 0.6 advantage over them. We're back, and it's completely flipped. Mercedes are now the ones with that half second, 0.6 advantage. In fact, Valtteri has that over his teammate. The gap to Vettel is pretty much a second, there or thereabouts. It's quite the incredible turnaround. Will it be the same in the race? And how are they feeling after this qualifying session, which has proven now, we think, and we have to say, 5th race in a row, Mercedes dominance over Ferrari.
Mercedes looked very strong already yesterday, and I think it's the same picture today. Obviously, we wanted it to look differently, but it isn't, so we'll see what we can do tomorrow. Certainly, we're not happy with the gap. I think we're happy with the position, but not happy with the gap.
Yeah, it's really surprised to see Ferrari obviously as far off as they are. I don't really know what to say. I don't know. They're always fast on the straights, and it's almost like they're not putting enough downforce on. It's not that they don't have it, so I don't really know what it seems like their approach might not be the same as ours. But anyways, we'll keep fighting.
It was great qualifying. I think one of my best, if not the best. And it's such a nice feeling when you succeed with a lap like that. And just all the laps before in the qualifying, I managed to pick up the places that I can improve and how to improve. I managed to do it in qualifying 3, and it's a good feeling.
Did you find a shortcut in the second sector? Because no one could match you through there to the tune of like about half a second. It was incredible.
Haven't you seen the onboard? No. I was on between the white lines all the time, so I just managed to find good lines within the white lines, and I have to say the car was so good, and I could really 100% trust it, or even more, and I could really do with it whatever I wanted to do, and it's a good feeling.
So that is your lot from post-qualifying Paddock Pass here in Barcelona. Mercedes are in the ascendancy, and to a higher degree than I think anybody, certainly those in red, were expecting. Red Bull, though, are in the mix with Ferrari. Can Haas take the fight to Red Bull? What about McLaren, who have looked pretty handy all weekend, fighting their way up out of, unexpectedly, the top 10? They'll be looking to score points tomorrow. Looking forward to it. Don't miss it. Join us tomorrow for the Spanish Grand Prix, where Valtteri Bottas will be hoping to turn pole position into another race win.